What's going on, my friend? It's Jeff Newport, and in today's video, we are discussing how he does 100 pull-ups per day. Okay, now before we get into the let's discuss why we're even having this conversation. And that's because I routinely get emails from guys asking me how they can or whether they should add pull-ups to their kettlebell workout routines. So I thought we could learn something from the following story. Now, I first started having my son do pull-ups on the doorway pull-up bar when he was around 6 or 7 years old. I had him start with multiple sets of 1 rep. His first goal was to do 5 reps in one day, okay? And he did this every day. And then his second goal was to do 10 reps in one day. And from there, 20 reps in one day. And then when he was about 8 years old, I challenged him to do 100 pull-ups over the course of a day. And so he did, but actually he did more. He did 110. Now, here's where this gets interesting. Since then, he's kept up with his pull-up training. Now, at the age of 14, he routinely does 100 pull-ups every single day, all right? Or almost every day. Now, why almost? Well, because he understands the value of waiving the load. So he varies the total number of pull-ups or the total amount of work he does day to day, okay? And on some days, he'll only do about 70 or 75 pull-ups. Now, how well does this work? Well, he's destroying kids his own age and even a little older on the BJJ mats. And I can really tell a difference in his strength levels now that puberty's kicked on and he just turned 14. In fact, he's gained about 4 or 5 inches in height and nearly 20 pounds on the scale in the last 6 months. Now you might be wondering, well, that's great, Jeff. How does this apply to me? Simple. If you want to add pull-ups to your routine, you start the same way that my son did, okay? With 1 pull-up at a time. And you slowly build up over the course of weeks, months, and years. Okay, you follow the process and you build your patience muscle along the way. For guys our age, though, I do have a caveat. Don't train pull-ups, which is palms facing away from you, at first. Okay, instead, train chin-ups, which is palms facing you. All right. Now, why is that? Well, that's because most of us spend the majority of our days with our hands pronated. Okay, that means palms facing forward, or if you're on a keyboard, it's like this. All right. Like I said, we're on a keyboard and most of us are just clickety clacking all day, or we're steering a mouse. Okay. What does that got to do with the price of tea in China, Jeff? Well, this weakens our supinator muscles, which are the muscles that turn your hands over. Okay. And that can lead to elbow issues like tennis elbow or golfer's elbow, which creates sharp pain around your elbow, which can last pretty much forever. Okay. So you don't want to get that. Trust me, I've had it. It was a pain in the butt. And, I think we can both agree that's no bueno. We don't want that sort of thing. So starting with chin ups actually starts to address this imbalance in your forearm muscle groups and then works to keep any sort of pain away. Plus, I found that training chins instead of pull-ups tends to work your abs more, right? So it's like a 2-for-1 special. A little extra ab work never hurt anyone. And plus, don't most guys want to know what to do to train their abs? So add in some chin-ups, right? And if not for nothing, as they say up in the Northeast, up in Jersey, where I spent 10 years, did 10 years of hard labor in New Jersey. At least it felt that way. All right. I've noticed that doing chin-ups increases the power output in your kettlebell ballistics. It makes them feel lighter and even more explosive. Okay. So there's that. Now here's another thing. Most guys I work with work in offices. Some spend a lot of time driving. Very few work from home. So following my son's program, which is a grease the groove style, high frequency, low fatigue program, it just won't work, right? It's highly impractical and virtually impossible. I mean, I doubt that your boss is going to let you screw a chin-up bar into the door frame, is he, right? So many guys ask me then, well, if I can't do it that way, should I superset my presses with my pull-ups, right? Or my chin-ups, in this case. And while that actually can work, remember that a properly performed press uses your lats. So more likely than not, when you combine the two, presses and chin-ups, both will suffer due to fatigue accumulation. That's why I think there's a better way, right? And that's one of the reasons I recommend guys who want to train pull-ups or chin-ups do so with Schedule B found inside the program Rebuilt After 40, okay? Now, why am I recommending this? Well, because there's pull-ups in there, or chin-ups, excuse me. Right, I got pull-ups on the brain. There's chin-ups in there, there's presses in there, and there's squats. And actually, one of my personal all-time favorite chest developing exercises, if you're into that sort of thing, right? So you can use it to pump up your pecs fast, says Joe Weider, all right? I'll leave a link for that program Rebuilt After 40 below this video so you can check it out if you want. Furthermore, I think it's worth pointing out that research validates the ideas that the more chin-ups you can do, all right, the less body fat you'll tend to have, the more you can express your athleticism, and the more you improve your shoulder health and shoulder function. Now, finally, look, here's what I'm not saying. I'm not saying you shouldn't do pull-ups, right? Or that you can't do pull-ups. What I am saying is if you haven't done them in a while, start with chin-ups, okay? Use this progression that I'm about to lay out. Start with chin-ups, palms facing you, then go to a neutral grip like this, okay? Which is palms facing each other, and then go to pull-ups, all right? So hopefully you found this helpful. If you did, click the like button, smash the subscribe button if you're not a subscriber already. Leave me a comment in the comment section. Have you played around with adding chin-ups or pull-ups? And if you did, got any elbow issues to show for it? And finally, if you found this video helpful, share it with a friend. Until next time, my friend, stay strong.